Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to the 9th month of the Sojourn. My name is Dr. Stephanie Evans, and I'm Chair of African American Studies, Africana Women's Studies, and History here at Clark Atlanta University. This is the month of November. We have been reading Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois once a month since January. We are in preparation for a 50th anniversary commemorative celebration conference coming up in February 2013 for Dr. Du Bois, who was a faculty member here for 23 years, who is renowned nationally and internationally, but we are bringing him home to CAU. I would like to thank you all for coming. I know it's reading week, it's finals week, there's a whole bunch going on, everyone's ready for the holidays. But as we prepare for the holidays and the season of giving and shopping, it is due that we discuss business, Negro business and economic cooperation that gives us a historical and contemporary grounding for what we know as the market and our role in it. I am eternally grateful for our panelists who came today. We did have 3 other panelists who, due to travel plans and other obligations, could not make it, but I could not be more pleased with the 2 who did. I'm grateful, and as I introduce them, you will see why. Today's reading is Business and Economics, The Negro in Business, published in 1899, Business and Business Education, published in 1947, which is unavailable, but I wanted to list that on the, it's available through the Library of Congress, but it may not be widely available. Economic Cooperation, 1907 and 1917. This was part of a 20-year study that was led by Du Bois. It began before him and continued after him, but he was really the driving force in a yearly conference that looked at the Atlanta University publications, that looked at crime, health, literature and art, Africa, Reconstruction, church, family, and uplift. And this month we're looking at business and economics. And in January, we'll be looking at education. The Negro in Business was the first publication in 1899. And in that publication, John Hope wrote, "All of us know that material wealth is not the test of highest development and manhood. Yet inasmuch as this highest development is dependent on the material foundation, the man who lays that foundation is as great a benefactor to the race as the man or generation that will in the end present that final gift which shall yield the rich, ripe fruit of the emotions and the soul, the consummation of those aspirations that look beyond material things to the things that are abiding and eternal. In some such noble form as this, the vocation of businessman presents itself to me. And were I a vendor of peanuts or an owner of a mill, I should feel that I, along with the preachers and the teachers and the rest of the saints, was doing God's service in the cause of elevation of my people." In the Negro business, we get a sense of the history of Black people in different types of trades and business. Hotel keepers, salon keepers, saloon keepers, florists, butchers, caterers, tailors, druggists, grocerers, retail merchants, barbers, bankers, and photographers. We also get a sense of the Negro businessman by state in Georgia and Texas and Alabama and Tennessee, and some of the economic habits of Black people, particularly our hesitancy to save money based on the failure of the Freedmen's Bank. In economic cooperation, we see the history of black business, and of course, if you're dealing with Du Bois, everything starts in Africa. So he talks about Africa and the West Indies and the colonies and black people as commodities, and then black people moving toward owning their own business, and how that business was affected by things like migration. So we get a full sense through these documents about black business and our role in it, from ancient history to current history. And the two people who were so gracious to help us dig into these texts are the following. Dr. Charles T. Moses is the interim dean of Clark Atlanta University School of Business Administration. He is the chief academic officer for the school, the oldest continuously accredited historical black college and university business school in the United States. His doctoral degree is in management, and his dissertation focused on the development of economic models facilitating entrepreneurial development. A specialist in strategy and entrepreneurship, he also consults on the public and private sectors in the local, state, and international level. He is a visiting lecturer at the Mona School of Business, University of West Indies in Kingston, Jamaica, and an adjunct professor of management at Bentley University in Waltham, Massachusetts. In 2010 and 2011, he was a Fulbright Fellow to the University of West Indies, and from 1994 to 2001, he was a consultant based in South Africa and the Dean of EduPark, a business school affiliated with the University of Limpopo in Polokwane, South Africa. From 1997 to 99, he was the principal with Deloitte & Touche in South Africa, focusing on mergers and acquisitions. He was a cabinet-level advisor to former New York State Governor Mario Cuomo, and Dr. Moses was the administrator of the state's South African policy, which included the development of policies for the state's investment portfolio and the development of New York State Port Authority of New York and New Jersey Trade Office in Johannesburg, South Africa. From 2007 to 2009, he was a Mellon Fellow, doing research in the area of university internationalization. And in 2009 to 11, he was a Kettering Foundation Public Scholar. There's a lot more on Dr. Moses that can be found online. If you go to www.cau.edu and click on the picture of Du Bois, all of the seminar participant bios are there. We also have a very beloved colleague of mine, Dr. Frederick Knight, is an associate professor and chair of the history department at Morehouse College. He has his fellowship, he has held a fellowship at the Carter G. Woodson Institute for African American and African Studies at the University of Virginia, and the Center for Black Studies at the University of California, Santa Barbara, the John Nicholas Brown Center for the Study of American Civilization, and the History Department of the University of California, Riverside, where he completed his doctoral degree. He has also taught at the University of Memphis and Colorado State University. Dr. Knight has authored numerous articles and book chapters, and he recently published a book-length study, well, not recently, it's a few years now, an award-winning text, detailed text, Working the Diaspora, the Impact of African Labor on the Anglo-American World, 1650 to 1850. And quite a study. I just remember the role of things like indigo and how that played a real part in the development of African labor. Very enlightening text. Gentlemen, I thank you very much for coming. And Dean Moses, if you would begin your comments.